Hello YouTube. Well, we are in the workshop and I have a project for you. This is my brother Joe.
Hey everybody.
He come up from South Carolina and I had cut some live edge pine slabs and he wanted a mobile bar. Well, here it is. This took all the better part of a week on and off to put together, and we have white pine, we have walnut, and we poured the epoxy resin. So this video is probably going to be at least two parts. We're kind of filmed it backwards here, so we're going to go ahead and leave some links in the video, because this was actually a sawing video of making the slabs for your bar top. The walnut, there's another video sawing it. So you get to see when I cut stuff at the mill, this is how it can turn into something. So we're going to go ahead and go back to the first part of this, and we're going to be starting on the bar top. So let's get busy. I'll see you back in the shop. Now you see what Eddie goes through. Okay, let's get this project started. Got my cup of coffee, and it is Sunday morning. I think it is the 3rd of July. And I'm going to go ahead and get a head start on this project before my brother comes up from South Carolina, so that we can complete this project in time. So I had selected this piece of, nice piece of wide pine here. I mean, you're talking, don't got my tape measure handy, but we're at 20 and a half. It's a good strong 20 inches. And you can see, I don't know if you'll see it on the camera, I can pull you off the base there, but it's nice and flat. It dried very flat. And what we got to do now is get this actual bar top sanded, cut to length, and get it prepped for our next step. We're going to be adding a drink rail, and we're going to undermount it, but we're going to let it into the board so that the whole bottom of this thing will be flush, so you don't have to shim nothing up. So our first step is, I think we're just going to run this on the big wide belt sander, just so we don't have to take a chance with the planer, don't any tear out. A sander will not do no tear out. And we're going to pour epoxy on this, as you've seen on the actual finished product or project. And it don't have to be really that smooth to pour epoxy, but it could be flat. So let's go ahead and get to the sander, and maybe the first step, we'll cut these to length. So let's do that first, and then we'll go to the sander. So I'll talk to you then. Okay, we are at the table saw, and I just have a good combination blade on. I'm a big believer in combination blades versus some of these thin kerf blades, but I like an 1/8 inch kerf. It's a stronger saw body, it performs better, and that's just what I've been raised with. Also, I put anchor seal on the end of these boards. I'll show you that after I make the cut here. I have a sliding unit that I bought extra with the saw, and it's made by Excalibur. I don't even know if they still make these, but this thing cuts a nice square cut, and it's just nice to have. It'll do up to a 45-degree angle. So we're going to start the dust system here. And you can see that was the sealer put on there, and there's absolutely no checking into the end of this board. It's very worthwhile to put end coating on your pieces if you want them to be check free. So we'll get the other end squared up, and the next step, we'll get it flattened on the belt sander, and then we'll sweeten up this straight edge here, and then we'll start on the drink rail. So I'll see you at the belt sander. Okay, we're at the wide belt sander. Not everybody is lucky enough to have a 36-inch wide belt sander. I have 80 grit paper in here just to do some basically abrasive planing. Go put the belt tension on, and It'd be nice to have an extra hand here, but I don't have nobody, so we're going to have to make do with what we have. I'm going to hit the reset here, and hopefully it fires up. Sometimes it tries to kick out, but we'll see what it does. There we go. I'm going to fire up the dust system. And the way I like to do it is set the thickness lower and then crank it up as it goes. So let's see what happens here. Sounds perfect. Go. Come through a couple more times here. It smells so good. We're going to go ahead and raise the height a little bit. That's going to be a beautiful bar top. Okay, we're over at the big joiner. This is a 16-inch Porter C joiner, probably from the 1940s. It is a direct drive. It's got a 4-knife head, and this is the large diameter cutter head, which is, I think is like 4 3/4 diameter. Less tear out with these bigger machines. They were just built, you know, this machine's still around, and you can't believe what it will do. There is no guard here. I normally use this machine for flat facing, and there's a feeder that sits over top of it. So that's the reason. And the guard that came with it, it would be out to here. I couldn't even feed this through with the guard on it right now. So go ahead and fire this bad boy up. And this is pine and it's heavy. So what we're trying to do is just get a nice straight edge. Okay, we're back at the table saw, and one more step we have to do before we can actually take that material out is we got to form ears on the end of our drink reel. And the reason for this, I'll bring you over here, and can't get you out of the holder here, everybody. Well, anyhow, we'll show you. At the end of the bar, we want the drink rail to sit out, but we don't want to see that slot come all the way through the slab. So we're going to form these ears on, and then that way the actual, it's actually going to go this way. That way it will actually hide it, and when you look at the end of the bar, all you're going to see is that nice and flush there. So the way we're doing this, sorry about the camera angles here, but my holder was saying no way. And what I did is I put a little black mark there. I know where to stop this. The fence is set at 4 inches, and we're going to go up to that stop, and then we'll set up at the bandsaw just to make these little ear cuts. So we'll go ahead and just knock these out. That way they'll be both the same. And there we go. That will work. Okay, we're back at the table saw, and we're going to cut the little rabbet underneath here. Got the dado head set up. I got it cranked up to the same height as the thickness of the board we're using here, and I actually want to go just a hair more. This insert that I have on the saw here is just not the greatest. It sits down a little bit. I like the zero clearance ones. You just basically crank a slot through it, and so I'm just going to adjust that a little bit. Okay. Also, I put stop and start lines because we're not coming all the way through this. So we're going to go ahead and cut a couple slots and see how this works out. This is where you could ruin your top right now. So let me get you adjusted here a little bit better. And let's go ahead and try it. And make sure that you have the right side down. So I'm going to do is start it in further up. We'll back it up. So we're almost there. All right. The stop line. All right, we'll shut the saw off. Let it come to a complete stop. All right. Now, show you what we just accomplished here. And we're going to put a double face tape a piece of masonite to the fence so we can bring this blade all the way over to get to the edge. But as you can see, that'll be in, and then the tail, you know, will be right out to the edge there. So it's going to work out nice. So that way, when you're looking at this edge of the bar, you're not going to be seeing a slot coming through. So that's the reason we're doing this. So we'll go ahead and reset that thing, and I'll get that finished out for you, and we will talk to you here in a few minutes. Okay, it is the next day. It is the 4th of July morning, and we're going to turn our attention to the actual drink reel. And I laid out some holes where it's going to screw into the bottom of the bar top, and I just took a jigsaw and just a quart paint can and radius that off. And now we're just going to soften it up a little bit with the router. Gonna get my glasses so I can see. And we'll go ahead and radius this off, and then we're going to attach it to the bar. And it's hard to build and film at the same time, but it'll all work. Okay, here it is. And this will give you the illusion that this drink rail was literally attached into it, and you'd have no idea. I cut this a little bit shy so I can pull in nice and tight on these ears out here. Because if there's a gap there, it's going to look really bad. And I'm allowing a little bit of expansion room so that if this would happen to swell or whatever, it don't push itself away. So it's always a good idea to do that. So we're going to use basically some glue and screws, and keep moving things back and forth here. But it helps to know where things are at in your shop. So we're going to put a little bit of glue down, and we're not going to get crazy with the glue because we don't want a ton of squeeze out here. Nor do we want to rely on mechanical fasteners. Okay, we're going to get the brad gun here, and I'm going to tack it in place with some 2-inch brads, making sure there's no debris. Okay, want to make sure we're absolutely flush on both sides, which we are. And we're just going to put a couple brads just to hold it in place. That will be sufficient. Then we'll go ahead and work from the center out. And I got to make sure this bit is set correctly so we're not going to be, oh, we're in good shape. Don't want to poke through the bar top. Okay, we're using 1.5 inch screws. And I want to make sure it's pulled down nice and tight, which it is. So we'll go ahead and finish putting these screws in. And we'll turn this thing over and we'll do some routing and sanding on it, and this will be ready for the epoxy coming up next. So, all right, we'll talk to you then. Okay, you can see the drink rail turned out really, really nice. We got a nice tight fit there. And if you're looking at this thing, you would swear that this is just attached into it, and you would never know that it goes under it when you look at the end of it. That's just a nice termination, the way it worked out. I hate to see a slot milled through, and it just don't look too professional. Last 2 steps before this is ready for epoxy. And what we're going to do is we got another round over bit. This is a little bit bigger radius. And we're going to break over these edges and this edge here so that it's just not a sharp edge. And we're going to, not sure how I'm going to treat these corners yet, but we're going to soften these up a little bit and sort of keep the live edge look good there. So let's go ahead and route this. To come in backwards. That looks good. No flat spots in it. Okay. Now I have another secret little weapon here, and I'll show you this. Let's go out to the front here. And the bar could come off this log, and there's these really, really crazy, let me get you off the stand here. There's these really crazy insect tracks, and that just, I think, really makes it, almost gives it like a leather appearance, and we do not want to lose that. So this is where I started with I have a flap sander. I'll show you how this thing works here. I can get you locked back up there. And this is air powered, and it's Got a bunch of pieces of sandpaper, and when this thing runs, it's pretty aggressive, but it's not going to destroy the pattern here. Look at me, all covered in sawdust here. Man glitter. So all we're doing is just knocking off the debris and leaving all that kind of want to change direction. And that's absolutely beautiful. You got all the texture in there. The epoxy will do great on this. We'll get the sander and just soften this edge up. We don't want nothing sharp. So, okay, the moment you've been waiting for. We have the epoxy, and here with my brother Joe, and that's who's going to own this bar. So he's going to help do a little bit of work here. So let's go ahead and get. Let's go ahead and measure up our. You want to get us one ounce of each to that line. And I've been watching actually YouTube videos on how to mix this epoxy. I had poured a few projects in the past, and yeah, we're going to go on the 1-to-1. We're going to go there with the first one, and then to the 2 on the second one. And we're going to put a sealer coat on first. So they're saying the most critical part here, let me get you down here where we can see you. And we're going to do this kind of John Clark style. No editing on this. It's just going to be a quick video.
All right.
Okay, you got that one in. And so, gets that other one up. And while he's getting that going.
This goes up to the 2.
Yep, up to the 2. And let me pull you off the stand here. And there it is. It's getting ready to be sealed. And we're going to give it a sealer coat. And we'll show you how that works here in a second. So basically, it's going to be about 5 minutes of mixing. And I'll tell you what, we will bring you back when we're ready to pour this. So we'll catch you here in a couple seconds. 5 minutes and we're on the second container. We're running low on battery, so I just shut it off there. And you mixed for 5 minutes in the first container, and there it is. There's a 2-minute timer going off again, and we're thoroughly mixed. So now let's move over to the bar top here, and we're going to do the sealer coat. So I'll put you where we can see what's going on here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to pour this out over the top, and we're going to just spread it around with some foam. We might have to mix up a little bit more, but we'll see. And this is just going to seal everything. Let me see that stick real quick. Then if you want to grab one of them foam brushes and just start to just move it around. Yeah, there's a lot left in here. All right, I'm gonna get that torch ready to go here and start leveling some of that out, get rid of them bubbles, and let this baby cure up. You can just keep working it onto the front edge there. Okay, we're back, and we did the sealer coat yesterday. This is the next day, and we're gonna do the flood coat. So how it turns out is how it turns out. So I'm just gonna make sure you got a good view here. And we're gonna just give it a go here. So we mixed. Then we're putting a final mix on it here. And what we did is we went over it with some random orbital sander, knocked off anything that was sticking up. And they're saying don't worry about what it looks like at this point because now it's sealed. So let's see what happens. And here it is, fully mixed epoxy, and we're just going to basically slowly flood it on here. Get that little, see if we have enough mixed here in a second. I'm just going to use this guy here and just slowly drag it around. According to the amount we mixed should be correct. I don't know, we're going to find out. It seems awful thick.
I think we're covered here. I say you
All
just
right,
put some heat to
we're
it.
back, everybody, and we're just about to the point where it's just about flowed in where it needs to go, and it just takes a while for it to really cascade and level itself. And we've been going over it with the propane torch, and that just loosens it and makes it move. So
It's not
Okay.
looking really good.
yeah, I think we're just about leveled out. Just here, just a little bit here.
But that edge looks good, I think.
Yeah, this one's good down here.
I'm gonna give this a little bit of heat here. Yeah, it's floating now.
A little left over. I don't know if it's fun.
Just keep putting it back up on the edges on the front there. Just let it cascade over.
Yeah, this is flowing good now on this edge. This edge looks much better.
Let me take you up out of the holder here, everybody.
Where do you want to add more at?
I don't. Oh, I
Just look for anything dry, and
guess we're trying
and here we go.
to. Here, I'll put some along here. I could see on this drink rail.
It is turning out really nice.
Great.
Just takes time. You gotta work it around and let it cascade over. And there it is, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the epoxy video. And next time you see us, this top will be on the bar, and the whole project's just about complete. We'll take a little visit up to the shop at some point.